In this lesson, you're going to learn about the blend tool. It can be a pretty neat tool to not just blend shapes, but also come up with color schemes. So go ahead and open up a new document, and for this example, let's draw an ellipse out. Click and hold onto the rectangle tool, go down the ellipse, and just click and drag. I'm going to hold shift so it's a perfect circle. You can set it to some kind of color here by double clicking on the fill and choosing something. I want a shape that's the same exact width and height. So I'm going to actually take the selection tool and hold down Alt on the PC or Option on the Mac and click and drag this over. Like so, and I held Shift so it's perfectly aligned. And I'm going to change the color of this one to kind of a complementary color scheme. I could use a color guide, but I'm just going to set to some kind of orange color here. All right, and then I'm going to click and drag around both of these. And there's two ways to create a blend. One, you can go to Object, Blend, Make, and then you can change the blend options there. Or you can just go to the blend tool and click on one and click on the next. And then it creates blend. Now yours might look like a gradient, so I'm going to double click on the blend tool. You'll notice I have specified steps. If you just have smooth color and click OK, then it looks like a gradient. All right. So if you want the specified steps to maybe use those shapes in different variations of a color, go ahead and double click on the blend tool and go to specified steps and type in something. I'll type in 7. Click OK. And if you use the white arrow and click and drag this, well, I got to deselect first. Click and drag up and down. It does kind of stay connected from the beginning shape and the ending shape over here. If you double click on the blend tool, there's not many more options there. We can't really customize it. To get more advanced options, what we need to do with this selected, go up to Object and then go to Blend, and then there's blend options, there's expand, reverse spine, reverse front to back. So if you go to reverse spine, it just flips the colors. If you go to Object, Blend, and then reverse front to back, it just changes what was on top. So this one was on top to that one on bottom, and now it's backward. If you go to Object, Blend options, that's the same as just double clicking on the blend tool in the tools panel. So if you go to Object, Blend, and then see where it says release, that would just get rid of the blend. Then you just have two shapes. We don't want to do that. Just go to Object, Blend, Expand. So this is pretty cool. What it does is now when I use the white direct selection tool, just click off anywhere here to deselect. I click and drag this shape over here. It doesn't take the rest of these and make a line like it was. So you can move these around, use them in a logo or some kind of infographic as individual units. If you use the black arrow, the selection tool, if I click on any of them, then it treats it as an object here, as a grouped object. If you don't want that to happen, just go to Object, Ungroup, because it's grouped by default. Now when I use the black arrow, the selection tool, I can move them around just like as if I had the white arrow. So let's practice one more time, but instead of being the same shape, let's try two different shapes. So we'll go from star. So I'm going to draw a star out here, and we'll do a starburst. And I'm going to change the color here. You'll just see how this works from one shape to a different shape. And then let's draw a polygon. Do something like that. All right, and then let's do different colors so we can see the difference. All right, so I'm going to click and drag around those. Now, this time, instead of using the blend tool where I click one and click the other, I'm going to go to Object, Blend, Make. And by default, it has certain settings. So I'm going to go back and go Object, Blend. We have to make it first before we can go to Blend Options. Then go to Blend Options, and then you got specified steps. So if you wanted more steps, we could do that. Let's just say 30, do a bunch. And then there you go. So you can create some pretty cool patterns and things like that. If you wanted to release this, remember, what would we do? We go to Object, Blend, Release if we don't want the blend anymore. If we want it expanded, we go to Object, Blend, Expand. If you notice, these are still editable. So if I select one of these and just edit one of them, it catches up. It updates. So the entire blend is updated with the modifications of one of the shapes. So then with this, we could go to Object, Blend, Expand, Let's see what it came up with. Some interesting, pretty cool shapes. You can see it just slowly merging from one shape to the other. So that's the blend tool. I just want to stress that it's not just about taking shapes and blending them into the other. You can use it for pretty cool color schemes.